Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 10 of the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship live at the Red Bull Ring. I am your host and commentator for today's race, SLM_RRDZ, and we are coming off the back of a very competitive and very heated first race of the weekend for round number 9. So if you did check out that race replay, please go check it out. It is amazing, of course. And so we are willing to provide a bit more racing for the, once again, 2-minute warning for those that are just joining us. Superboy is back for this race. Of course, they were able to get the car fixed on time after an unfortunate DC took him out of race number 1, and he will be looking to get back with some more points here today. Hairraiser, he looked very, very strong indeed for first race, but unfortunately it did not work out for him. Mushalat, and he just got P4 after struggling for most of the race, so he came out very, very late in the end of that race and was able to come back up. Dirty Dude 14, who is now on the wet tires, and unfortunately he had to pit after lap 1, which in these races, pit stops are very costly indeed, and unfortunately it took him out of the race very much early on. So with him on wet now, we should be looking to add one more Mazda to the heated battle we're about to see again. And the man that came into this weekend as championship leader finished P6 in his first race, and so unfortunately that should give the championship lead to Elliott Fagner, and so he'll be looking to back. He will have to do very, very well this race if he wants to get some serious points back up on the table. Race 1 winner, James Head, who is taking to the grass, which is something he definitely doesn't want to do, and he was just able to keep it on the track, a little bit of gravel, but is able to keep it on. In third, who finished first race on the podium, so that's a very, very good showing for him. Bar 27 and Elliott Fagner, or Bar, I'm not sure what he's doing there, but I think he's trying to mingle with Mushalat, obviously, which they can obviously do in their own separate time, but Emily says, hey, welcome to the stream, Emily. And of course, the race having started now, we are on for another exciting round of rain racing here at the Red Bull Ring. Superboy will get the front position, and Dirty Dude will start right alongside him with Bar, Puller, and Hairraiser rounding up the top 5. Next is Mushalat, Doug Barrow, Elliott Fagner, and James Head. So, and when do the lights come on? And we are live. We are green flag racing now. Emily says, have I already missed a race? You unfortunately did miss a race, but that was live stream, so you should be able to catch up on that race after this one. Oh, was there contact made in the turn number 1 between Superboy and Dirty Dude? Oh, look at that. Oh, no, never mind. I actually can't between the two. There we go. So I can be able to flip between views. And already Bar 27 and SLM Polymer already playing with each other once again. Palmer's going to move to the inside, potentially late braking. Is he going to make it do it 3 wide going into the corner? And Dirty Dude and Palmer gets a little sideways, and Bar gets a bit of contact, and they're both hitting each other, and that's going to take down the performance significantly. And Hairraiser is going to move up into third, Palmer into fourth, or no, not Palmer, Mushalat into fourth. And this is allowing Dirty Dude and Superboy to get away from each other. These two very, very heated rivals within the Pro-Am GT3 Championship are going to duke it out here for the rain race. And so, where is Elliott Fagner and James Head? James Head gunning up into 6th, so he's had a terrific start for this race. Bar has dropped all the way down to 8th, so that... what has happened to Bar? Oh my goodness me. Bar 27, once again, just not having the greatest of starts, and he's already down in the 9th, so He's going backwards than forward, which is something he's going to have to correct massively ahead of this race. And there's all three of your race 1 podium finishers right in frame right there. Doug Barrow, Elliott Fagner, and James Head. And Elliott Fagner thinking about lunging it to the inside. Oh, James Head might have shut the door just about. Superboy at the moment. And is that a slow SLM Polymer? Yes, it is. So something has gone wrong once again for SLM Polymer. He's once again moving backwards. So what is going on for Polymer? James Head is up into 4th. So, and Elliott Fagner up into 5th. Doug Barrow still in 9th, but someone has a penalty of some sort, and that's going to be Hairraiser with a 5/10 penalty. Polymer is not having a good weekend. He needs to turn this around very, very quickly. Hairraiser will serve that penalty, and Barr going up on the inside. Oh, and almost a bit of contact made with Polymer. And I do not think Doug Barrow like that. He's flashing the lights out of frustration. And so, 7 seconds down off the race leader. So, Doug Barrow, who finished on the podium in 3rd in race 1, is definitely not benefiting from this at all. Superboy still continuing to lead the way over Dirdude in these very treacherous and slick conditions. And Elliott Fagner and Mouchelot gonna try and pop it on the inside of James Head, maybe. Oh, and a bit of contact maybe between Mouchelot and James Head out of turn number 6, I believe. 7, 8, 9. Yes, turn number 6. Turn number. Actually, hold on. Let me count these turns real quickly. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, now they're turning 8. Now they're approaching turn number 10. Mouchelot not benefiting from that. Elliott Fagner doing a good job at gaining away from the rest of the pack and moving forward to try and face up against Dirdude and Superboy. And so, James Head and Elliott Fagner are going to continue their race 1 duel because they definitely have some unfinished business, of course, from race 1. And that's a slow-moving Mouchelot, and that's a very wide Hairraiser. And I believe that might give himself a track limits violation penalty in game because sometimes it's not as accurate as it would be in real life. And I'm a bit surprised it's not activated right now, so he might have got lucky with that one. Polymer Mouchelot going a bit side by side. Barnes with some of this dropped down a position. And so Mouchelot has dropped down to 7, so not a good new start. Oh, look at this battle right here between James Head and Elliott Fagner. Elliott Fagner moving a bit closer to the racing line. Gonna force James Head there. Oh, and James Head still keeping it on. And that's good for him. But it's allowing to continue the guys up in first and second to get away from each other. And Dirdude, which is a name that hasn't been said a lot in the first race, is going to be starting to put the pressure once again on Superboy. And these two have a long history of being able to provide some very, very nice battles between each other in the Pro-Am GT3 Championship. Emily says, does anyone know if they need to pit at any point? Surprisingly, these cars will actually not need a pit stop because, one, the tire degradation is so light in these cars that they will not actually need a pit stop for this race, and two, the fuel conservation is so light as well that they will not even have to pit as well for that. So it's just all-out sprint racing between these two, and James Head has gotten past Elliott Fagner for third position, and Elliott Fagner is gonna try and make something stick. very, very close lap times between one another. Elliott Wagner shining a headlight down the inside. Oh, and James Head getting a little bit sideways. Durdu now still 2.6 seconds now. That gap has grown significantly over half a lap ago. Superboy has done a very, very good job at maintaining the race lead, of course. Oh, and Elliott Wagner popping one down the inside, maybe, but James Head doing a good job. Oh, and that's a slow-moving Durdu, which is getting more closer and closer towards the Mazdas behind rather than in front. So Durdu might be starting to feel a bit of the pressure. And so, this is not good news for Durdu, the German, who didn't have a very good race one. As a result, he had to pit out of the intermediates, which he started on, and that pretty much killed his race from the beginning. Oh, all three of those cars hit some form of the gravel, and each provided a kick of oversteer. And this battle for second is very, very much on now. So, Durdu in the 14 is going to have to play the defense card here a bit slightly. Something we've noticed about Durdu as well, he's not playing the defense card a lot in any of the championships, either in the Mazda or in the GT3 League, because usually you see him up at the front. So, Superboy still continuing to lead the way by 2.6 seconds. And Durdu is starting to go the other way, which is something you definitely don't want to do. And that's a bit more curving than he needed to take. And Elliott Wagner and James Head still going at it. A fast lap by Elliott Wagner. And we're seeing the 208s for the first time all weekend long. So these Mazdas are definitely getting faster. These Mazdas are definitely getting faster. Oh, a side-by-side battle for Doug Barrow and Hair-Ranger, but Doug Barrow with a 1-second penalty of some sort. Mouchlat and Barr still right there, but our eyes are still continuing on the battle between Durdu and Elliott Wagner, and James Head has been displaced a position or so. Elliott Wagner gonna get shown open the door, and Durdu's had to serve a penalty of some sort for track limits violations. And the momentum swing for Durdu is going to go in the favor of him. And James Head, can he make it 3 wide? Of course. He's thinking about it, and now he's going to make the move. He's going to follow back, force a move from Elliott Wagner. And 3 wide going into the corner, and Durdu not going to benefit from any of this. And so, going to still stay right behind. On board now with the Mazda of Elliott Wagner on Durdu. And he's right alongside James Head. He's got the inside corner. And a good run by Durdu, who's also lost another position to Palmer, who is also trying to make up lost ground. And there might have been some contact made between the two cars. And so Palmer is going to try and get back these points, if he can, on Elliott Wagner, knowing that he's potentially lost the championship lead. And also another thing of note as well, a fastest lap of the race will grant you an additional bonus point as well for the championship that you're in. So this is going to help Palmer out slightly and minimize more of the damage that's being sustained on himself. Another thing of note as well, Elliott Wagner starting to slowly gain up on Superboy. Gap's now starting to grow a little bit, but now it's stabilizing just. Rev the cars going into turn number 2, or turn number 3, I should say. I apologize for that. Bar 27 has moved up into 7th. And what has happened to Mushlot and Hairraiser? They are significantly behind. What has happened between Mushlot and Hairraiser? They've fallen massively. So a not good day for any of these guys as they've fallen back significantly. Superboy still continuing to lead the way by 1.3 seconds, or 1.7 seconds I should say. This race so far not being as defensive for the most part, but most part being offensive in a way where you definitely want to just maintain your ground. On board now with the Mazda of Superboy. You see the amount of turning that is needed for most of these cars, especially in the wet, and that's going to be a very wide Elliott Bagger on your screen, and that's allowing James Head to pass easily with flying colors. And so Palmer, can he force one? Nothing as of yet. Palmer's taking a bit more AstroTurf than he needed to, so that's going to be a 5/10 penalty for SLM Palmer. And unfortunately for him, he's going to have to serve that penalty, probably going to the brakes while remaining close. Elliott Bagger, can he force one up the inside? It's a bit later on the brakes, but probably lighter on the brakes as well. Elliott Bagger doing a good job. And just seeing the amount of turning that is needed for the Mazda to keep them in control. And Elliott Bagger has picked up a penalty of some sort and is out a very wide Superboy as well. I thought so. And this is slowly bringing the Mazdas closer and closer to each other as time progresses on. Elliott Bagger showing the flicker of lights, knowing that his presence is near. And he's definitely going to want to be trying to get another podium for sure. Potentially a race win if he's feeling lucky. The drive that Elliott Bagger has had as of late, and the continuous glow with the lights. You can just see him right there. Elliott Bagger once again throwing it up the inside of Superboy. Can he force a move? And he does. And he's going to force Superboy a bit wide out of that corner. And Elliott Bagger has taken the lead of this race. And he's still got 1/10 of a second penalty still yet to serve in this 4-car battle for the lead, and he's just cleared that penalty, so he can push now as hard as he wants to without trying to get another penalty of some kind. James Head moving into the inside, which is a little bit odd because Superboy might be a bit slow, so James Head on the inside, I should say. Superboy on the outside. Oh, and Superboy tried the over-under on James Head, but that didn't work. And all three of those Mazdas, James Head, Superboy, and Palmer, all going sideways from each other. And Elliott Bagger, and that gap is growing significantly to just under a second. On board now with the Mazda of Superboy, which I thought he had his flashes on for a second. So there you go, the Mazda of Superboy. now 1.2 seconds-ish, roughly, is the gap between first and second. About 13 minutes to go, James Head will have to drive like qualifying trim once any hope of trying to get a race win. So, I think James Head might be on the absolute limit. As of late, Elliott Wagner has been setting the faster laps of this race. So, starting to move to the middle of the track. James Head slowly but surely closing up on Elliott Wagner for another run, potentially for the race lead. While Palmer's analyzing all of this, it's allowing James Head to get closer and closer. 0.3 of a second now over the 1.2, just half a lap to go. James Head's not allowing an inch of room. Elliott Wagner's not allowing an inch of room between the two Mazdas. Is having that one car width between the two cars. James Head is going to go to the outside. Elliott Wagner on the inside for turn number 4. And a good move for James Head. He's going to slide one on the inside, and he's going to take the lead of this race. What a move by James Head to do the over-under. And, of course, that has worked out in his favor significantly, and Elliott Wagner right behind him. So Elliott Wagner still not done. No flashing lights as of yet. Elliott Wagner is going to move down to the inside. So I was thinking the outside was going to be the faster line, obviously. Oh, and a bit of contact made, probably between the two Mazdas. Elliott Wagner is going to keep him there, and Palmer is going to close up just about. And James Head getting a better run. It's going to have the inside for turn number 1. And Elliott Wagner, I believe, is going to try and squeeze him to the inside. He's definitely trying to do so. And James Head is going to grab the lead of this race. What a battle between the top two guys from race number 1 of the weekend. 10 minutes to go now in this race. So this is going to be an absolutely crazy race between these 3 guys. And Palmer has been sitting on the sidelines a fair bit. Elliott gonna try and cover up Palmer, but Palmer is gonna be right there, and there's gonna be a bit of contact between the 2 cars. Elliott Wagner maybe not liking that as much, and that's allowing James Head to once again get away and get a gap and bridge a gap between the 2 drivers from first and second place. Ooh, Palmer with a massive kick of oversteer, obviously, for himself, and so he's going to try and stay as close as he can between Elliott Wagner and Palmer. And Palmer is desperate to try and grab a race win as well to minimize the damage lost, to minimize the damage on Elliott Wagner from race number 1 into race number 2 as well. As it stands already, Elliott Wagner would be theoretically the championship leader of the season after last race, and should be continuing that trend this race. So we'll go for another crack again into turn number 9. Elliott Wagner wants to get on the inside, James Head on the outside. And a nose width still separate the 2. Oh, and James Head's got to bridge the gap a little bit. And Elliott Wagner and Palmer having a kick of oversteer. And Elliott Wagner going to move to the inside of the course once again. And James Head still not able to find a way on past. As well as Palmer. We'll take a look back. Let's look back at the rest of the field here. Doug Barrow's still doing a good job in 4th. Durdude in 5th. So Superboy was in 4th 3/4 of a lap ago, so something's happened to him. Obviously, at 2:14 and 2:12 from his last lap. Barnes was 7th, in 7th, Hairraiser in 8th, and Mouchelot in 9th. So, and Elliott Wagner with a defense move, and I think they were going 3 wide into turn number 3. Palmer is going to try something, and he's moved up into 2nd place. So, this is the best so far Palmer has performed all race long, and he's going to definitely try and do something to get back up into the lead. James Head going a bit wide out of into turn number 4. And James Head is now snuck himself back up into 2nd, no problem. Palmer showing the flash of the light, so there might have been a bit of contact somewhere, which Palmer is not pleased about. I say maybe, of course. Elliott Wagner still leading, but Palmer is going to sneak on the inside of James Head. And can James Head still keep it on there? Yes, he will. What a move that is. From the outside to the inside. And Palmer is going to try and give Elliott a bit of his own medicine with the repetitive light flashing. Or flashing of the lights, I should say. And what a race it's been. Not like 5 cars where we had it the first race, which was very, very exciting indeed. But this time it's just 3 cars. And it's just about attrition this time by. Oh, and James Head's going to move to the inside. Maybe going to force a nose down the inside. Yes, he will. And James Head's going to try and force his way. And it looked like they were both going up against each other. Elliott Wagner turning to the right and James Head to the left. And what a move that is by James Head to take the lead in this race. And that is a spectacular move, but Elliott Wagner is still going to give him a challenge towards turn number 2 and turn number 3. On board now with the Mazda of SLM Palmer. Elliott Wagner with an aggressive switch back into the inside. James Head's going to stay there. And Elliott Wagner thinking about forcing one on the inside. Nothing doing there. Actually, a very late launch to the inside. Palmer with a good run, but it puts itself right behind the Mazda of Elliott Wagner. Oh, and Palmer's going to force one to the outside, but Elliott nudging the door a little bit shut so where he doesn't get over there. And Palmer can do nothing but sit it out. Oh, and James Head with a massive shot. Oh, and Elliott Wagner's going to go a bit sideways, and he's going to lose out on the race lead. And Palmer is going to take the lead of this race. And James Head has been displaced into 2nd place, and that contact made by Elliott forced him very sideways into James Head, and it slowed himself and James Head down. And SLM Palmer is back in the lead of this race. And if SLM Palmer can hold on to the lead of this race, that would be very, very good for him, obviously, because it would give him a nice chunk of points to recover from Elliott Wagner. James Head thinking about making a move onto the outside. He's got the lead of the race, but Palmer's doing a good job of defending that line. TIGS says no commentators curse, please. I don't think there's going to be any need for commentators cursing if they're already providing the good racing that there is for the rain race. So, Palmer's still leading the way, but James Head's got to run onto the inside. Elliott Wagner is still behind. Palmer's going to force one to the outside and keep the momentum going, and that's a bit wide. Oh, that's a big kick of oversteer for Palmer, and he somehow kept the lead of this race, but at the same time has picked up a 5/10 penalty. So late race drama for the now race leader. He's going to start to serve that penalty, and he does so very quickly into the braking zone. And he's going to allow Elliott Wagner to get back ahead, as well as James Head. So not good news for the 24. Oh my goodness me, my voice feels like it's about to die out with 3 minutes to go. And this has been insanely close racing as well. Doug Barrow, Dirty Dude, and Superboy are all right there. So, could this transform into a final lap 6-car dash for the cash? So, James Head doing a good job. And based on the timing standings as they are right now, they should get this lap and one more. So next lap will be their final lap. And so Elliott Wagner still on the behind of James Head. Palmer is 1.2 seconds off James Head, so I unfortunately think his day might be done. James Head going very, very wide, and that's definitely going to get him a 5/10 penalty for abusing track limits. And it has not, which is really a surprise by considering how much wide he went out of the final corner. Elliott Wagner is going to cover off James Head and stick his behind right in James's nose. And the white flag is out this time by, and they will have one more lap to settle their differences in the art of racing in the rain here at the Red Bull Ring for round number 10 of the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship. And James Head's going to try and fake one to the outside, maybe nothing doing there as of yet, but the momentum push for James Head, do not count that out, because that's a great momentum push. Elliott Wagner is going to try and force him out wide. And they're side by side. James Head, Elliott Wagner not giving him as much room as he dares. And Elliott Wagner, he's still at the nose for James Head to go underneath. Elliott Wagner with a good momentum push, but Elliott Wagner goes onto the gravel trap, and it's cost him. Oh, and he's almost took it out Palmer. So, and late drama for Elliott Wagner, who's leading this race, has given Palmer second place, and James Head once again the lead of this race. And Palmer in the 24 can turn this all around and maybe get a race win here. Time has expired. Mouchelot has decided to finish up the race one lap early, so that's unfortunate for him. But this race for the lead is far from over. Coming to the final corner once again. Does Palmer have anything for him? He got to go momentum push. But I do feel like James Head has held on, and James Head for the second time this weekend will win and will sweep the weekend here at the Red Bull Ring circuit. Palmer with a good recovery drive has gone up into second, and Elliott Wagner with an unfortunate blow in the gravel trap has taken home third. Doug Barrow will take home another stronghold of points in fourth. Dirty with a good recovery in fifth. Superboy in sixth. Hair Razor in seventh, and Bar 27 in eighth. And once again, James Head has taken another win and has swept the weekend here in this wet weekend of slipping and sliding in the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship. Great job to James Head, who's starting dead last as a matter of fact. So, I'm not sure. Actually, it is the first time that actually it's not happened. So, once again, James Head with another race win, and also that is the second time this season somebody has swept the race weekends by winning both events. So we are going to invite our podium finishers once again. And, of course, my voice is pretty much already dead shot. And so we are going to invite our podium finishers into the party. There you have it for your race results. And what a race that was right there. James Head getting the race win. Polymer, who was only just under 0.3 of a second behind. And Elliot Fageter, who did a strong effort to try and get a race win, could only muster third. And we do have our podium finishers coming in once again. We'll start off this time with the man who has visited the podium first time this weekend, SLM Polymer. That was a very tough race for you, of course. That was a very tough race for you in the 24 Mazda. A second place, a very good chunk of points for you as well to minimize the championship damage done by Elliot Fageter. How do you feel for your second place finish right now?
Yeah, I would have definitely liked to win, but second place definitely feels a lot more better than the first race. Yeah, I'm not very happy with the way I drove today. I wasn't really the cleanest, and it paid off.
Do you feel like that the wet weather conditions of the Rebel Ring kind of played a factor into that? Do you know or no?
Yeah, I think so, because of course the car's sliding a lot more and that, and of course it's a lot more worse on the brakes. Yeah, that just completely put me into bad race mode, I guess.
Well, unfortunate to hear for SLM Polymer, but of course you do come home second in points today, and also you get the fastest lap of the race as well, so that's an additional bonus point for you as well. We will once again go to Elliot Fageter, who once again continuing the streak of podiums alive here. And Elliot Fageter, I bet that was another tough race for you, of course, but you were so close to a race win. But how do you feel after securing a P3 finish here today?
P3 is great, but it should have been P2. Yeah.
Just not much to say, obviously, after a late dip in the gravel for a small smidge that kind of held you back, obviously.
That's the least of the issues in that race.
So, unfortunate for Elliot Fageter for another podium finish, but of course he does continue that streak alive and will still, I assume, keep the championship lead, of course. And once again, we turn our attention to James Head, who has swept the weekend, of course. And James Head, I kind of assuming that you're ecstatic about the double race wins, of course, but how are you feeling right now knowing that you've just swept the weekend, of course?
Very, very, very happy. Very happy. Honestly, that second race was a lot harder than the first. And that's saying a lot because, again, I had to work for it. Coming from the back of the field, tried to follow Elliot during the race. I think that was a good plan at the end. Obviously, last lap, I don't know what happened. I was down the inside of Elliot, down into turn 4, I think it was. And then I'm not sure if I've contacted him and pushed him wide or if that was just a mistake on his behalf. I'm not sure if he wants to comment on that, maybe.
Elliot, you got a comment on that?
Yep, sorry. Yeah, no, James, you were fine.
I was fine. Thank goodness. I thought I made contact. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get the rest thrown out and everything, and I'm going to be angry. But no, honestly, I had to work for that. Last to first. Did what I'd said on the tin after my rest one interview. Couldn't be happier.
And you, sir, are taking home a sizable chunk of points as well. Do you think that's going to be... Do you think this is the start to your championship charge, potentially, to try and get back up into the top spots of the championship?
As I said in the rest one interview, I think if I have the good luck and the fortune and I've got the pace, I can go forward to being a championship contender. And I definitely think with my 2 race wins here tonight, certainly doing a lot better in the MX5s than in the GT3s. So that'll go forward definitely for me in the future. And I hope this is going to be the start of my championship challenge.
And I do have one more question for you, of course, James said, and I think this is a pretty obvious answer for you, of course. Did you expect to win that race, of course?
No. Honestly, what was going through my head at the start, I was thinking if I follow Elliot and I follow who started third last in that race as well? Was it Hairraiser or somebody? But yeah, try to follow them through, and I'm just picking them off one by one. And I was thinking, well, if I can get up to like third by halfway through the race, which I was, then I've got a good chance of winning the race. So a bit of tactics came into play tonight when winning. But I'm happy. I'm very happy.
Well, of course, it was a very, very good weekend for everybody in the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship. Of course, James Head sweeping the weekend here. The second time this season, as a matter of fact, it's happened. The first time it happened was Elliott at Suzuka. So, of course, this provided some very, very close racing for everybody, of course, and the wet weather racing kind of threw some people off, and unfortunately, I do believe Palmer was unfortunately one of those people, and I do believe Superboy as well, but we do return to action at Dragon Trail, so please stay tuned for that. But next week will be the GT3 Championship, I believe, at Barcelona, Catalunya, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I have been host and commentator for today's set of Mazda MX5 Cup races, SC_RDZ, and I will see you guys next time.